So, religious gaslighting, in my opinion, is the last strategy, the last hope to manipulate men that are not strong internally or mentally, into handing over their resources, into getting into situations or getting into relationships that don't offer them fair exchange, because they have no intentions of offering men value or fair exchange in exchange for their masculinity, in exchange for their resources, in exchange for their manhood in general and the things that they bring to the table as men. Because we live in a gynocentric environment, gynocentrism. So the idea that you have to be worthy of the things that you ask men to produce or to offer the world, just like men have to be worthy to be in a situation where they're leaders or whether they have certain things with the family or relationships. Nobody deserves a relationship. And by default, you don't deserve to be married just because you were born with female genitalia, any more than a man deserves to have in his life a woman that operates with him or under his leadership, or in a situation where he can bring forth kids into this world and have a family. There's no right to that. You have to deserve that. And the best way to get what you deserve is to actually deserve what you deserve, or work hard and be honorable, or offer value to somebody in exchange for what you think you desire or you want. And that's the fundamental problem. They think by default, and that's why I have problems with these Scott Galloways and these Dave Ramsey types. By default, that you said that this gender is inherently or intrinsically valuable just because they exist as a female species in this culture, in this society, without any type of standard or requirement. And anytime men bring forth a standard or requirement for, exchange of his manhood and his masculine, his value as a man, or his provision and protection, or anything of that nature, he is automatically looked upon and shamed, like you're a degenerate or you're whatever else, or he sees no value in engaging in contracts with the state that have proven to fail extraordinary amounts of time. Now he's a heathen or a horrible person. And again, we've had many strategies in terms of getting men to do things that people want them to do. We've tried broke shaming men. The women used to tell men with low self-esteem, that, hey, you see them all the time, shaming on social media. So just say you broke. Which is that a man with low self-esteem is going to start doing things to prove his worth and his value to you. And he does never ever looked at or thought about who is saying this to you. Why are you proving yourself to a damn chicken head? Something is wrong with you. So when they say you're broke, a man with real self-esteem understand that this is a reverse psychology strategy to extract resources from you. So you're going to prove your value to proving that you have this, or proving that you will do certain things, and they are the beneficiary of that. So they want you spending money. They want you doing things that benefits them. That's why they're shaming you for being broke. And I'm a person like me and whatever. I'll be like, well, yeah, I'm broke. Congratulations. You're proving me broke. Have a nice day. And you keep it moving. And that's what men with self-esteem do. Why would you feel the necessity to prove yourself to people that are basically, the equivalent of some old leaves blowing on the ground past you in the wind? And that's the mentality and mindset men have to get to. So we've seen the situation. So we've seen the WAP has failed. The Cardi B's, the women think that the sexual liberation shit and this ability to control men based on just solely what's between their legs. WAP has taken an L. Shame has taken an L. And when I talked about Klay Thompson taking away hope from many of these women, that has failed. The idea that you can do whatever you want, live however you want, be out here enjoying all this freedom, and at the end of the rainbow, there's a nice, good old jellyback simp waiting to rescue you with a superhero cape, and he comes in, he flies in, and he solves all your problem. I mean, that's how the way the Panda Bears make money. The Derrick Jacksons and everybody of the world, they sell women a fantasy of hope, that there's some superhero or there's some trusted white knight simp coming on his white steed, and he's going to kick down the door and say, hey, I'm here to save you and rescue you from all your problems. I don't care if you haven't went to the gym in 10 years and you just have a nasty, disgusting, stinky attitude and you're full of entitlement and you want to be treated and wined and dined and just pedestalized, and I'm going to worship you and serve you, and then the only thing you have to offer me is some old pre-owned box. And that's their dream and fantasy. That's how the panda bears make their money. And again, it works for them. Salute to those brothers, because that's the only business model that sells in this current environment. So we have certain failures, certain mind manipulations, and that have all failed in life. And now the last hope is religion. Religion. And I always say, marriage in America, Western country, America, and many other places around the world is the last stop on the sexual liberation rail lines. And how do you get men, not simps, talking about honorable men, the men that women want, certain types of men that women want, to take the deal? The way you do it is and what the last hope is, since the hope strategy with the Clay Thompsons of the world has failed, since hope has failed, shame has failed, all these things have failed. Now what we're going to use is religion. We're going to start calling men heathens because they won't hand over their wallets or hand over their money with enthusiasm. Just hand over their resources. You're a bad person because you won't marry this born again 304 that has rebranded herself. You know, Jesus has cleansed her of her past. And you won't marry. You know, obviously she's in the church for a reason. It's all manipulation. They're going to hit you with about 30, 40 scriptures and try and get you to give over that money, hand over that money. They're going to religious that money out of your ass. They're going to tell you what a disgusting heathen. What, you want to live out here and be free like a peaceful life and not get married? You want to live in sin and consume whores? You dirty, disgusting man. Look at you. You're selfish and greedy. Just because you'd rather take your money and slap it in your Charles Schwab account and invest it, and you don't want to share with these rebranded 304s and get married to this single mom or take care of these other people's responsibility, you're a bad person because you live your life as a squared away person. You try to live a righteous life, and you don't want to take care of people that mismanage their money, mismanage their youth, mismanage their resources. They're victims, and you're a horrible person because you try to be squared away and live a good life. And you should share with them. It is ungodly, you selfish bastard. That's how they want to shame you. At the end of the day, with all this shame, it has nothing to do with you. Handing over your resources, handing over your manhood, handing over your masculinity without a standard. Going out here saving people. As I told you before in my videos, I keep the bear and 911 on speed dial. I'll be like, hey, they're acting up over there. Get the cops over here fast. I performed my duty to perform and to act. I'm trying to get guys to understand the preservation of their life. You know, what they call peaceful life. You're a big coward. So what? Hey, your kung fu is better than mine. Maybe I should call you when I'm in trouble so you can come and save me. Yeah, your kung fu is great. You want to be a superhero out here? Hey, so you guys are scared. So what? So we're scared. Is it unhuman to have fear? Even if you're not, Even if you're not scared, hey, tell them you're scared. Who cares? They don't like you anyhow. What do you care if you're scared? It's some jellyback simp that's bitch-led, that's out here performing for these women who don't even like his ass, who sees him as nothing more than a disposable tampon, tell you a punk or you a scared dude because you won't go run out there and get and break up some domestic between some woman who chooses toxic men, and you go out there get deleted, and then next week they'll be still talking about what degenerates men are, and you find yourself to be a hero, jumping on the sword or rescuing people from the consequences of their poor decisions. You're a horrible heathen person because you work hard and you save your money and you do the things you're supposed to do for you because you won't hand it over willingly to other people who have mismanaged their resources, mismanaged their life. Now you're a heathen, and the people that are doing the degeneracy are the good people. And they're going to hit you with a bunch of script. Oh, you're going to die this way, or you're going to die that way. And God said this and God said that. But then when you turn that around, see, I am the person that says, show me the Jesus in the way you live your life. You can talk to me all day long about religion. As soon as you start pontificating religions and scripture, now your ass is under the magnifying glass with a peaceful life. Before you even start talking that shit, I was cool. And you start talking that shit, now I'm watching your ass now. I say, shit, hey, would Christ be doing that? Oh, I don't look Jesus-like to you. You just curse that guy out like that. And I know there's no perfection in life. We all have sin and all have problems and whatever else, whatever your belief system is. But now what I'm trying to say, listen right now, you're a manipulator, because what happens inevitably when logic fails, what they do is they play the religious card, because they can't operate in fairness and balance and pure logic and reasoning. You see, religion is the armor that they use, one, to hide their deviance, their dysfunction. You look on any of your social media page, all these people that you know that be into some demonic stuff and how they live their life are all pontificating religion. They're full of crap. You know the bullshit that they play, the game that they play they play a game. It's all this show, performative. It's all performative. It's a performative virtue signaling, performative behavior, because behind closed doors and how they operate in all their activities all day long, they're operating from a position of immorality. And again, it's all gaslight. It's all pump fake. It's all bullshit. At the end of the day, especially when it comes to dating and relationship and the way how religion is being used now, they're using religion in the church, many of these women, to manipulate men they wouldn't date at 21 years old, 22 years old, to marry women that have mismanaged their youth, that have slept with men, that have been disagreeable, ball-busting feminists, that have disrespected their way out of relationships with good men, that have walked past good men in their past, that have created an environment, or they're bought into a system that preaches or practices certain things. They've been hardcore feminists their whole life. And now because of economic duress, they're in trouble, and they're looking for retirement plans. They're not looking for any type of mutual exchange or fair exchange. Again, they're still looking for relationships on their terms based on the situations that benefit them. But the missing ingredient is money, resources. That's all they care about. They don't plan to say, okay, well, I'm going to take care of the man that takes care of me. No, they think that all they have to offer you as a man is old, worn out, highly, vigorously, and viciously pounded out pre-owned. That's all you're getting. You're not going to get any peace at your house. You're not going to get somebody. If you try to do, she had to get up in the morning and make you a breakfast sandwich or whatever else, she's going to tell you, they talk about, oh, you ain't paying 100% of the bills to get that. Yeah, well, maybe my payment of bills is prorated by the amount of mileage on your. No, I'm not going down that road. They're making these requirements for the men they wouldn't date when they were 21 years old. They have given that thing away in alleyways, at Freaknik, at all these spring break parties. They have took guys in gas station bathrooms. They've given that guy, that punani, in so many places, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. That's why they can't mess with a peaceful life. You see? So when these jellyback simps come to, you guys are incels, you can't. See, a peaceful life will bring the messages, because I can connect with every other man. There's a, well, you guys can. I'm never invisible to women. I'm 6'8" tall. I walk out the door. Those are me dunking back there in the Big East. So I've been around women and have opportunities. I've been around a lot of women in my life. You're not talking. That's why I can cook these jellyback simps. And not only that, I have years of investigative experience. I will uncover your simp behavior, and I will make a nice long video showing you in jellyback activity, especially these cucks and religious cucks that try to perpetrate masculinity, try to hijack masculinity. None of these guys are nothing more than bitch-led men. virtue signaling to men. You see, what they do is they have what's called this displaced aggression. They will try to hijack masculinity and attack men, but realistically, they have no power at home. So they get their highs and they get their self-esteem by going after men. And they take out the frustrations because they lack the ability to give any power at their house. And they turn that on men. They don't think we understand the psychology of a cuck, and especially these religious simps or these religious cucks. They do that completely aggressively. They really have some serious displaced aggression towards men because they have no power in their own homes and they're projecting onto men. So we know the psychology of them. The same way we know the psychology of women that try to rebrand themselves in the church and use religion subjectively, manipulatively, to talk about what men supposed to be doing. They're always talking about provider, protector, because it's always about money and them getting money out of your ass. And again, there's nothing wrong with men providing and protecting women. The question is, what are women's duties? What are their responsibilities? Again, they don't want to be on, they're not going to listen to you. Again, responsibility without authority is slavery. And that's what they're trying to get you on the plantation of, getting with these women, getting with these shin-you leftover women. They don't listen to men. They're hard-headed. They're difficult. And they're not going to listen to your ass. Not only that, why would they listen to you when, obviously they think that they're doing you a favor by being with you because you're not that guy, that 6'7" guy on the basketball team that they used to have sex with back in the day. And that is what their clock is set at. You're not him. And therefore, they're doing you a favor. You should be grateful to get that pre-owned. And you should be paying a higher price than the 40 guys before you, which is marriage MSRP. So the man that gets to marry women these days is the guy who gets her at the last stop on the sexual liberation rail lines. And that guy, the guys who beat on their chests, like, again, a peaceful life has no ego. You know why I have no ego? Because I understand that men and women, we're all hanging out at that old country buffet trash can. And we're just discussing that what's the best. You reach down that trash can, we get that burger out of there, and we look and say, look, you might say to me, well, peaceful life, you 6'7". You got them long arms. That burger over there has one maggot on it. I may say, you know what, buddy? I'll tell you what. Let's make a trade. Give me $20 and I'll reach that burger for you. I mean, it's kind of expensive for an old burger with a bit on it, but we're using this just as a reference and an analogy. So I might say, you know what? I'll get it for you. I'll reach that burger for you with one bite. A peaceful life is not a selfish man. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all eating used burgers. But the problem with men is that they don't understand the reality. And you're going to ask yourself the fundamental question as a man. Since we're all good at flexing on each other and whatever else, why the hell are we hanging out at the old country buffet trash can? No men ever sit around and say that. We're all eating out of the old country buffet trash can. We've all failed, damn it. Why do I need to be having ego or a peaceful life? Your burger has one maggot and my burger has 4 maggots. Well, shit, I just reach you the other one. But we're failed because we're sitting at the trash can arguing about which burger has what bite on it and what has less bite on it. This is why I don't get into these goofy conversations with these men. Because that's what sexual liberation has done to us as a human species and as a race. We were, passing around like Skittles, taste the rainbow and shit. And everybody walking dudes beating on you. Oh, I get more used burgers than you, a peaceful life. Or you guys are incels because you can't get that burger out of the old country buffet trash can. I'm a better man than you because I eat more used burgers. Congratulations, my brother. Eat away and enjoy yourself. Just don't get bit with one of those raccoons or squirrels. Or don't get bit hanging around that trash can. Congratulations. You're a manly man because you eat more used burgers than a man who eat none. Congratulations. And that's what really I look at it. And I hear people, well, it's just a horrible way to look at life. But hey, it is what it is. It is an environment that we currently exist in. So now we're trying to add value to things and give this pecking order of manhood and masculinity in a system or society itself that has no respect for men other than them to be used as these disposable tampons. You can't even have a conversation about how men are supposed to be treated in relationship. What are men supposed to receive? You know, you have a conversation like that, they'll call you a misogynist, horrible human being. The idea that men are supposed to have any standard that men has is shame. Any type of expectation that you be treated like a human being, respected, taken care of, because you take care of the people that I'm talking about. It's a reciprocation circle of energy. And when you talk about how men being on the receiving end, that's a problem. But they can talk about all day long what men are supposed to be doing for everybody else. How about we have a conversation about how men are supposed to be treated? Good men, honorable men, respectful men. How are they supposed to be treated in a society that is still demanding these part of the men that are here to a part of a social contract that feminism has destroyed? How are men supposed to be treated? And that's the difficult conversation. But even the churches now, all they preach about on Sunday and Wednesday and every other day is what men are supposed to be doing for everybody else. Never about what men are supposed to be, how men are supposed to be treated, how good men are supposed to be respected, how men are supposed to be taken care of. And that's really the failure of a system of society. And again, guys are getting smart and they're listening to content like mine. And again, I'm not anti-relationship, anti-marriage. I am pro-peace, anti-torture, pro-winning, anti-losing. Again, I support the mentality of relationship capitalism. Those who compete will be chosen. And those who offer each other equal value or a value in their terms, what we considered a fair exchange of value, will be successful in the long term. And those that are trying to panhandle relationship, religious gaslight, or offer mediocrity in exchange for value are the ones that are going to suffer the most. But peace and blessings to you guys. It's time to get out here and get the day started. I'm out. Appreciate you guys. Subscribe to this channel. Please make sure you hit the like button. If you want to support this channel and support the content, Cash App's in the description. Again, guys, take care of yourself. Nobody takes care of you like you. It's not selfishness, it's self-esteem. And people don't want you to have it. They want you to be a disposable tampon for their life. Because all they talk about is what benefits them and how you need to be doing more for them. Never what they're going to do for you. I'm out. Hit the like button, Jimmy.